Ships are the largest means of transportation in the world. Ever since humans learned to travel between distant countries, sea travel has been the preferred method. Even today, many isolated islands can only be reached by maritime transport such as ships and boats. Furthermore, for large companies, the most efficient way to transport goods is by giant cargo ship. It is therefore natural to see countries that manufacture these ships competing with each other to build the largest and most powerful ship ever. Welcome to Random Channel. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to receive regular updates. I hope you enjoy the video. The Titanic is the most famous ship of the past, and perhaps the future as well. When it was built, it was the largest and strongest ship ever constructed. Although only 269 meters long, it held the record for the longest and largest ship ever built. Even today, it is considered to be one of the 50 longest ships ever built. At the time, the media did not focus on length or size. Instead, advertising emphasized the level of luxury and sophistication that the Titanic offered. It was said that second-class accommodation on the Titanic far surpassed all first-class accommodation on other ships. Furthermore, the Titanic boasted impressive technology and was the first ship to be known as the unsinkable ship. This nickname was widely interpreted as a challenge to God, implying that he could not sink the ship. This is incorrect. In fact, the nickname meant that the ship was built with technology that protected it from sinking. The Titanic was divided into 16 watertight compartments, each with doors that would automatically lock in the event of any water leakage. Even if leakage breached these barriers and flooded 4 of the 16 sections, the ship was designed to float. However, it was certainly unforeseen that the ship would sail at full speed and collide with an iceberg. The powerful impact caused 5 of the sections to flood completely before they could be sealed, ultimately leading to the Titanic's total sinking on its maiden and final voyage. The Queen Mary II is a British cruise ship and the 7th largest in the world. When it was built in 2003, it was the largest cruise ship ever constructed. Measuring approximately 345 meters in length and 45 meters in width, the ship can carry 2,700 passengers and 1,200 crew members. It travels at a speed of 30 knots per hour, approximately 57 kilometers per hour. Since its launch, the Queen Mary II has been a favourite among the world's wealthy, resulting in very high fares. This is partly due to its status as a royal vessel. There is even a room on the ship's deck called the Queen's Room. Most of the passengers are business people and economists who typically travel on it for business trips between England and the United States. The Oasis-class cruisers are a fleet of 6 giant cruise ships, all of which are still in service today. The last ship in the fleet was launched in May 2024. The fleet is characterized by its identical color scheme and design, and the ships are almost identical in size, each measuring approximately 360 meters in length. Each ship can carry over 6,600 passengers and crew members. The fleet's sole purpose is to provide cruises and leisure activities, with some voyages centered on the Caribbean and the Bahamas and others on the Western Mediterranean. The fleet is wholly owned by Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, which launched its first voyage in 2009. The Valemax is a giant vessel that is considered to some extent to be an international ship built through the efforts of Brazil, China, South Korea and Japan. The idea and design originated in Brazil, but due to disagreements between the then President Lula da Silva and Vale's CEO, the ship acquired international status. Da Silva wanted to use Brazilian shipyards, but Vale insisted on using Asian ones. Consequently, the initial fleet of 35 ships was constructed in China. Valemax is a generic term for a large fleet of ships totaling 67 vessels. The ships in the fleet are almost identical, with only minor variations in shape. What unites the entire fleet is its enormous cargo capacity, estimated at 400,000 tons. These ships were intended to transport Brazilian iron or for export. Vale, the Brazilian company, is one of the world's largest iron ore companies, if not the largest. Unfortunately, this large company's ambitious plans lasted only 4 years without problems. After 4 years of operation specifically, in 2015, regulations were introduced limiting cargo ships to a maximum capacity of 250,000 tons of iron ore. This resulted in significant losses for Vale, prompting the company to switch to smaller vessels with a capacity of 250,000 tons. The Valemax fleet remains among the largest ships, measuring 362 meters in length and 65 metres in width, one of the largest dimensions for any ship model. Due to its immense size, the ship travels at a limited speed of approximately 15 knots per hour, equivalent to 28 kilometres per hour. The TI container ships fleet comprises 4 vessels known as the Fantastic Four, each of which serves one of the major global markets in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Oceania. This quartet boasts the highest safety standards of any oil tanker. For instance, the upper hull of these tankers has a double hull design and is engineered to reflect sunlight to prevent heat loss. Furthermore, the tanks are filled with inert gases to prevent any issues in the event of a leak. The main vessel is 380 metres long and has an impressive beam of 68 metres, a record that remains unbroken to this day. These tankers can travel at a speed of 16.5 knots per hour, equivalent to around 30 kilometres per hour. The Seawise Giant, a supertanker built by Sumitomo Heavy Industries in Japan, the Seawise Giant was the largest moving object ever built when it embarked on its maiden voyage in 1981. Due to its immense size, however, the vessel could not navigate the English, Panama or Suez canals. Initially measuring approximately 458 metres in length, the ship was later extended by an additional 30 metres, following the addition of a floating liner for transporting liquefied natural gas. This ship was undoubtedly an engineering marvel, and one that will never be repeated. We use the past tense because this giant tanker has become part of history. In 1988, the ship was accidentally bombed. It was repaired and sold to several companies until 2004. By that time, the ship no longer met the required maritime transport standards, so it was used as a storage unit for a period. After 6 years in service, it was finally sent to the shipyard for dismantling, leaving behind only photographs, memories, and its massive anchors, weighing 36 tons each. These anchors are currently housed in the Hong Kong Maritime Museum. And that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.